See you, bud. Man, it has been a rough, which is putting it lightly, week for the Maserati. So you guys may remember very recently we had a video come out of the Maserati getting some rear bumper damage, and we also talked about the wheel getting damaged on the Maserati too. Now we may have blown that over proportion in our thumbnail, but I can assure you this one will not disappoint. The Maserati is hurt.
So yesterday I woke up at my normal time of 5 a.m. and I had a notification on my phone whenever I went to check that the bouncy GPS tracker that we use had detected an impact, which is a really cool feature that Bouncy offers. Now, of course, my heart kind of sank and I woke up HP, which I very rarely do at that time.
At my not normal time of waking
That is
up.
not normal time. And whenever you look at the Bouncy data, you could see that the car had hit, like you can even tell from the data that it probably hit some sort of wall. But here are the series of events that happened. So you may be able to see here, if you can't, let me explain it to you. So the black line right here is him hitting speeds of over 100 miles per hour. Then this little signal here, this is like the notification. Anytime they hit over 100, we get notified and that little icon pops up. Then this little signal here is a sign of hard braking. So we flip over to the next picture, which is him hard braking, and you can see here that he's going from 121 miles per hour to 0 miles per hour at a deceleration rate of 11 miles per hour per second. Then you can see this little icon, and that is the impact icon.
Now you might notice in this next picture, when the hard impact is shown, that there's a lot of zigzag lines. It's because the car isn't facing straight any longer, it's just doing a bunch of different directions because he's spinning out of control.
Then you can see right here that he had an impact going only 13 miles per hour, and then he pulled off to the side.
And we say only 13 miles an hour because he was doing 122 miles an hour right before that. Now, to be fair, this tracker may not be completely accurate, and he actually could have hit the wall going a lot faster, but by the time the car was able to realize what happened, he may have been doing 13 miles an hour.
Now, obviously, you guys haven't seen the damage yet. We did see some pictures, and I think there's no way that he hit what he hit going 13 miles per hour. But we'll see. I mean, we laugh, but like, it's really frustrating. And this guy obviously was driving extremely recklessly. So whenever we saw that the car had been in an accident, I reached out and I said, hey, we got an impact detection on our car, like what's going on? And he responded right away and said that he was actually in the AAA truck getting the car towed, and that he ran over some sleet and then he hit a wall or a rail. But the problem is that it was over freezing. It was 46 degrees at the time that the accident happened, which sleet doesn't form on like with 46 degrees. It also like wasn't rainy. It wasn't anything.
It was dry conditions.
It was dry conditions, and the tracker very obviously shows a pattern of reckless driving and extremely reckless driving right before he hit the railing. And so it's really frustrating, and like I almost feel like I laugh because I don't really know how else to react to it. But to be frank, I'm really pissed off about it because I hate how people take things that don't belong to them and they treat it like absolute trash. I guess the only silver lining here is that the car was towed literally 5 minutes from our house, which is definitely a silver lining. So we're actually gonna go check it out now to see the damage in person because we're only working based off of photos.
Man, from 200 feet it looks pretty good. From 100 feet, still looking pretty good.
I know based off of the photos that neither of those sides that we currently see are the sides with the damage.
10 feet, still looking good. Oh, jeez. Yeah, there she is.
What is that?
That's the one of the oil coolers, and it is wrecked pretty bad. Now you can tell that it is broken by the way that it is. That looks like a bumper sensor that is no longer censoring in the bumper. Yeah, this is pretty bad. I mean, the headlight's also broken too.
Headlights broken. We have,
Fender.
I mean, the hood, like, I mean, is that hood damage or is it?
I mean, the fender's pushed up underneath the hood, so.
We got wheel damage.
Yeah. The hood actually looks like it has a bit of a bend to it too. Yeah, no bueno, that wheel is trashed. And then coming back here, there's a hole in our bumper. Oh, that's disappointing.
But aren't we so glad that we got our bumper fixed last week?
Wow, I'm so glad I spent that amount of elbow grease and time working on this. Ah.
Surprisingly, the airbag did not go off, which I don't know, HP. I mean, is that surprising that the airbag didn't go off?
Not really. There's crash sensors in certain parts of the car, and if it would help, but if he were getting thrown to the side, an airbag wouldn't have helped him if it smacked him in the face. So, yeah. Now Aubrey's gonna go ahead and take way too many pictures of the Maserati because we technically, I think, have to end the trip that was started for the Turo trip itself. And now we also get to ask the age-old question, is it totaled? And that's actually a tricky question in this particular scenario because the cost of this car is relatively low, but the cost and price of parts for this car are pretty expensive still. I mean, a lot of this stuff is one-off. There isn't very many other vehicles that share parts of this vehicle. There's not like a Dodge vehicle that shares the same bumper, and there's not a Ferrari that shares the same bumper. It's only a Maserati bumper, which means Maserati can technically jack that price up pretty high. So we're looking at least a front bumper, a fender, and some hood work, if not an entire hood, depending on how bad it's bent, and a rear bumper. We're looking at sensors.
Not to mention the mechanical damage with the oil. Which
that is true.
There's multiple parts in there cracked.
Yeah, there's multiple parts in this oil cooler, and that could have leaked out a lot of oil. I don't see a puddle underneath it, and the guy drove it, and there's oil pumps that push that oil around, so there may not be any oil in it. I don't want to start it because I don't want to find out.
So we got the photos that we need, and I mean, I think preliminarily it looks like it needs a new front bumper, a new rear bumper, new tires and wheels, a new hood, a new headlight, and whatever's wrong in the engine as well. And so HP off camera was saying that he thinks it could be estimated to cost 15 to 20,000, and for a car that's probably only worth 25 to 26 right now, I think we could be looking at a total loss.
Yeah. And that's actually a big discussion, is that, you know, not a lot of body shops want to do extensive body work on cars, and insurance companies know that they could actually part out that car and
probably
make a lot more money. Yeah.
Now today is Sunday, January 9th. The damage happened on Saturday, January 8th, and Turo isn't open on the weekends, or at least their damage claim department isn't. So let's fast forward to once we have an update for you guys. So, long time no see. So, I don't have a ton of good news to report. So it is 4:15 p.m. Monday, January 10th. It's the day after the previous clip, and it's 2 days after the accident occurred. And I spoke with Turo this morning, and it looks as though the Maserati is probably going to be totaled. They are transferring the car to their total loss arm of insurance, which is IAA. That's what it's called. And I was instructed to go and allow for the car to be released to them. So we did that, and then we have to go drop off the key at the Maserati as well. And there's of course some paperwork that we have to submit and an estimate that we have to get, and there's kind of a whole estimation process that they have to go through. So the Turo support was super helpful. They always are with these types of things, and now it's just really a waiting game for the insurance company to do their thing, then to communicate that to Turo, and then Turo will communicate that to me. So they estimated that it will probably be between 5 and 10 days before I hear a solid answer. And so as of right now, we just kind of have to do our thing, which is drop off the key, release the vehicle, which has been done. And so HP is going to head to the lot now and pick up the tracker and some of the things that are in the car that belong to us. And so definitely not an ideal ending to this experiment. We don't know for sure if it is totaled or not, but I definitely am leaning towards the fact that it probably is, but only time will tell. So HP is going to take you along with him as he goes and finishes off the car. I got to head into a meeting, so we'll just have to see what happens.
So on my way now to the Maserati, I'm actually pulling up here in a second, and I'm gonna make sure to get all of our belongings out of the vehicle, because this might be the last time that we see our Maserati Ghibli, which is very, very unfortunate. I mean, like we said before, I'm very disappointed that we're losing this car, because it was a nice car. Well, here she is, right where I left her, but surrounded with much more expensive cars too. All right. So, first things first, let's take this toll tag down and destroy it. Nothing in there. This has still got some juice in it. Taking that. Nothing. Secret compartment. Nothing. Open that. Ooh, Our car wash fast pass. Gotta take that out. Anything back here? As much as I'd love to take the cool fancy toolkit, I cannot. My cool bumper guards did their job pretty well. It came off with the bumper, which is pretty impressive. Who can sing where the moon's gone? I don't know the words.